I work for an organization called Made to Flourish, and we are a pastors network, and we have at the moment 1,400 pastors in our network. And what we try to encourage our pastors to do is to affirm the work that people do Monday through Friday. Because let's face it, a good portion of our waking hours is working. Work is any activity other than rest or leisure. Whether paid or unpaid. So one of the things we encourage pastors to do in the context of worship is do all of life interviews. For example, I may invite an educator to the front and ask that person a series of questions like, how does your work reflect the image of God? Where do you see evidence of the fall or brokenness? Then I have all the educators in the congregation to stand and we'll collectively pray for all the educators. And if a pastor does that with all the different occupations represented in his or her congregations, people feel affirmed. Not to mention, that will hopefully eliminate this myth that we need to leave our work at the door. Interviews like that encourage people to bring their work anxieties, their work issues into the corporate experience. Imagine saying the Lord's Prayer, and the preacher, before reciting it, will say, think about someone at work as you say this prayer. Visualize where you are Monday morning as I read this text. There are many creative ways to bring our work into worship. One pastor friend of mine, she invites people in her church to bring in little artifacts that represent that profession. So imagine someone bringing a hammer as a carpenter. Imagine someone bring a piece of wire if they are an electrician. Some churches have opted to have galleries in the sanctuary or some space in the church itself where they display art that depicts work, ordinary work. So those are a couple examples. And we can also go as far as to say, we also encourage pastors to not only do hospital visits, but also to do workplace visits. Imagine putting a map of the city in your church and allowing people from the church to put little flags where they will be on Monday. That shows those putting those flags on that map that God is using them out in the public. We typically do that with missionaries. We see maybe 3 flags in foreign countries and think God is at work in those countries, and indeed He is. But He's also at work. God is also at work. And as I push the broom, as I do work as a custodian, as I change a diaper, as I add up numbers on the accounting sheet, and we like to say it this way: this is a way to connect Sunday worship to Monday work.